What it's like to get deaf. Sucks. It sucks. It's hard, it's tough. So I was in Russia actually when I lost my hearing completely. I woke up, on New Year's night. I had total hearing. I don't know why I'm like moving with the glasses, maybe ADHD. But anyway, so New Year's night, I was in Russia before the war broke out, and I like attended everything I could hear, and I was deaf already in this year. Surgery like 10 years ago, but I started hearing this year, and I could hear like even though like my hearing was going, like with my hearing aids and everything, like I still hear pretty well. And so at night, I went to bed, nice and sleep time, and I woke up, and my mom had on the TV, and I was like, "That's weird. She must have it on really low." It's weird. She was like not even listening to the TV. But then she goes and says something to me, and I'm like groggy, so I'm like, whatever. And then I get up and I start getting ready, and she says something else to me, and I'm like, I can't hear what you're saying. Like, I can't hear what you're saying. And I just had a full blown freak out. So, of course, it's like a major difference in time zone between the US and Russia. But I call everybody. I have like my captured phone out, right? Because I like prepare. I was like, I knew that I was gonna have to lose my hearing eventually, so I was like preparing for this moment. I'm like calling everybody, and I'm like, it's happening. This is happening. This is not a drill. Right? I'm like sobbing all over the place, like snot's coming down everywhere. And my mom was like, good thing you got your steroids. And I was like, shit. I know. They were supposed to get filled. They did get filled, but they were going to be ready in time. So, anyways, so we're like running around Russia trying to find steroids. And which is kind of weird. Like the pharmacies have like a lot of drugs there that are like are not are over the counter. It's like bizarre. But we got me some steroids, and I got on and asked my doctor like what I do, and she's like, "Well, just enjoy the rest of your trip," because your hearing comes back a little bit, right? So then 3 months later, I booked an OR. It took me a while to get into the OR. It like takes a minute, because if you're not like dying, then like you're like okay, right? I mean, I was like throwing up by the toilet, but I guess I was like fine. So anyway, so we book an OR, and I go into the OR the night before I lose my hearing, got to dinner, and I'm like with my whole family in Boston. I'm eating my food, and I can barely hear anybody because my hearing has really gone down, and I just start crying in the middle of the restaurant. And I am just like loud sobbing. And everybody else like starts crying too. I can't imagine what the other people thought when we were at dinner. What is going on? So then I go into surgery, and I come out. I thought I was gonna be really scared, right? Like waking up completely deaf. Um, Might have been the drugs. They definitely gave me really good drugs. But I woke up, and I looked around, and they had these like little sign cards, right? Like where they're like, hey, you made it. But it was great because I didn't wake up. They didn't have to like try to mouth me, like they had everything already prepared. Well, that was about it. But anyways, so I go to the hospital room or whatever, and so embarrassing. And the first time I realized that I was deaf was because I got my catheter out. If you don't know what that is, it's like where you like go to the bathroom and they like, hold it in. So like the catheter is like super uncomfortable. I like hate getting this. And so like, I don't know, a day goes by and I'm like, get me out of this thing. Let's get me out, and they like walk me to the bathroom. But like, how you like cure yourself in? Like I don't know how to make that any other way. You know how you like cure yourself? It's like comforting. So embarrassing. But it's the truth. And that was the first time I was like, I can't pee. And I started panicking because I was like, so uncomfortable. So anyway, so that happened. And then, a lot of the nurses surprisingly didn't have a lot of gadgets and stuff. So I've really tried to educate on like what to do for next time for like somebody else because it was like really difficult. They didn't have translators. They had like pen and paper. They didn't have like dry erase marker. They should have had like printables, right? Right? Like that. Like the surgery room was doing great with that. Like how did that not transfer to ICU? So they had that was really difficult. And then I got really sick, and that was like a 3 week thing. I was in the ICU, almost died. Yeah, that was like crazy. Different story for a different day. But when I left, I got comfortable being in the hospital deaf. But when I left, I was unexpected. It was very unexpected to hear it. I guess I didn't hear it. To be on the outside world. It was really scary. Like I remember going back to the apartment, I started cleaning. Like if you know me, like I'm like a very messy person, and my mom was like, "This is great. This is her new thing of coping. This is awesome." I got over that really fast. So then we go into it wasn't like a Harris Teeter, it was like Whole Foods. We go into Whole Foods and right across the way is the CVS, and I wanted to get Gatorade. So my mom hands me $20 because I didn't, my wallet was a safe place at home, and she hands me $20 and she's like, "Go get the Gatorade." But I was like, "I'm deaf. Like, how can you not come with me?" But my mom knew that I had to jump, right? Like I couldn't, like I had to figure this out. My mom was like, "It's like the sooner the better. Like, get out there, kid." So after that happened, I go into the CVS and I'm like so nervous, like having a Gatorade in my hand, and I like had the $20. Like I'm like shaking in line, right? Like I'm just so nervous. I'm also very drugged up, like very nervous. And I go to the counter and I'm like, I just start like panicking. I was like, "I'm sorry, like I'm deaf. Like this conversation is gonna be difficult. Like I don't know what to do. Like I just lost my hearing." The guy was just like, "Oh my god." And then so I pay him or whatever, and he like turns to me when I leave, and he gives me that "I love you" sign, and I was like, God, what a great reaction! Like every single person's gonna be like this. Because it was crazy, It took me about a year or two to adjust. The first year or two, if you're losing your hearing, is definitely the hardest. Definitely the hardest. But I didn't have a lot of the transcribe electronics that are out now and everything like that. And I didn't have a lot of resources. I had to find them all on my own, and they weren't invented yet. So things are, I'm not going to say easy, but they're easier than they were. But anyways, crazy story. If you guys have any questions, definitely leave them below.